All right, welcome back. Feeling pretty exhausted because it's about what I thought was going to be about 2 hours of work. Ended up being a whole lot more today. I'm happy I got it done, but yeah, 2 hours turned into probably 5-6 hours. So I'll give you a quick tour. I'll try and focus on the new garden area because that's where most of the work has gone on. And then I'll save most of the other outside of the garden stuff for maybe next week or the week after. I might do an extra update next week. So the dump truck full of soil arrived and I had some extra, which was absolutely perfect. I've actually got some more on order for another, and 2 more days I'll get 2 dump trucks full. But so because originally it was just meant for the garden, and because I had some extras, I decided to fill in some of the big dips in the land. And so this was a major one here, that was a major one there. And so being a lot more level now, it feels like it should be a lot easier for vehicles to come onto the land. You can sort of see little bits and pieces down here, all through there. And then you can see it's a bit like a golf course at the moment, I suppose. But yeah, all through there where last rainy season there was a whole bunch of toads and tadpoles and mosquitoes that used to love that area there. So I trenched it sort of maybe towards the end of rainy season. And then now I've filled it in with sand. So hopefully there's no more puddles or little mini lakes that are in this bit anymore, but we'll see. Because it is quite sandy, I'm hoping that it'll just sort of filter through to where I have the better trench system that runs through and then back down to the creek. So for new things since the last update, this bit here I've mulched all around the outside of the area now. So yeah, there's everything back in focus. So there's the fence there, and then so just outside. And I did all of the replanting, so hopefully this looks very much different since the last update. These ones here, these were the original eggplants that were down along the old garden down there, and they were the ones that were making lots of eggplant that I was eating. And then when I replanted them, I kind of expected things to struggle a little bit, and they did. But all of these leaves, all these green leaves now are the eggplant regrowing, so it seems quite happy again. It'll just take a little, probably in 4 more weeks they'll be back to where they were before and pumping out eggplants again. I'll talk about this a little bit later, but all down here I put in the aloe vera and the caladiums, and they seem to be doing pretty well. No issues there. I don't actually think I've lost anything in the big transplant. These were all the eggplant from the very far part of the old garden, so way down here. And I thought I only had maybe 10, but it turns out there's an entire row of them. And I think all up, there was something ridiculous, like 25, 26 eggplants. So I've, all the way down here and all the way down here. I'll head into the garden soon to show you some of the details, but this is the tree lettuce here. And I'm still really wanting to have sort of half of the row down here with the tree lettuce, but it'll take some time before it starts giving seeds, and I'm happy to wait because it's been a lot of work with all the other stuff going on. You can probably see that, I've left this without extra mulch because I'm a little bit unsure. This matches up down here where I've got the other trench system along with that one there. And so I didn't want to fill this all up with mulch and then have to dig through all of that mulch to do a trench. So I've left it for now. Probably will leave it until the end of the rainy season. We'll see how we go. And but yes, coming back to this tree lettuce, it got a little bit droopy for a few days, but I was so relieved to see it's all bounced back and it's super happily growing again. It's mainly it's still got a few little bits here where it kind of struggled, but everywhere else it's looking really good. Okay, so I'll take you into the garden. There's been new things happening in both the old garden and the new one. One of these days. So this, I haven't touched this at all. This is just the entryway, but you can see, I don't know if it comes up very well, but this is about probably 30-40 centimeters above where it was before. So essentially I've raised both the old and the new garden up by about 30 to 40 centimeters from where it was probably a couple weeks ago. But yeah, so here I've replanted the dill. So the dill was over there with the old eggplant, and then I've kind of spread it out, and so you can kind of see here where like it didn't really like being transplanted, but all of this is new, so it seems quite happy to be regrowing. And yeah, that's pretty much all new. Yeah, these are all brand new leaves since I replanted them. So yeah, just between all the eggplant, I've got, again, this is the old falling off stuff, but this is all new growth. So hopefully in a few more weeks, yeah, there's some more dill there. So just in between dill, and yeah, more dill. And then down this way here, so these are going to be the midnight ones. They're really dark eggplant. And then these ones over here, yeah, they're the purple ones from before. And in between the eggplant for about halfway through, and I'll try and finish off the row later, but this is all the stevia that I've taken cuttings from and then replanted down in here. So maybe in a week more I'll put the stevia in between all of those ones as well and actually finish off the row. And then over here, these are not lazy here. These are just little groupings I couldn't decide. They're extras, but I didn't want to plant them individually, and so I didn't also want to kill them. So I just put them in there for now until the tree lettuce comes down this way, and then I'll defer that decision until then. But these are all the shallots here. So I've separated them and put them out. Those were the ones that were running down the middle here. Yeah, and so I can't believe like these were the ones that one of the first things into the garden, and they've taken really well to their new home. They didn't really struggle much at all. The kookaburras have arrived. So this is the water spinach area here, and I think in the last vlog I was saying hopefully by the end, or by this update, I'll have finished off the row all the way to the end, and so that happened probably last week, and everything's growing really well there. And then some extras, I'll probably take more because this is all doing still really well, and so probably over the next maybe week, if I have time, I'll continue planting on down this row here. So eventually I'd like all of this row here to be the water spinach, at least during the wet season. And these ones here, the garlic chives, they were right next to the tree lettuce and the sweet potato. And when I pulled up everything over there, I was surprised at how much these had grown, and I think they'll be quite happy there. The other news, this is the chili. I don't know if I've done any recent updates on this one, but that's actually the chili plant. I think maybe it's been a month or so. But yeah, that's the chili that has come alive, and it's been growing quite a bit. So maybe a few more weeks, at least until the chilies. But so these are the sweet potatoes. That's one of the neighborhood dogs that came to visit today for a long time, and she decided it was playtime, so she ran around everywhere. But yeah, the sweet potatoes, they're doing really well, and I imagine probably within a couple weeks from now they'll have completely taken over everything, and as I would hope that they do. The big sweet potato news is that, yeah, when I took things out of over here, I got about probably 15, maybe 20 sweet potatoes, and I took all of the leaves and the shoots and everything, and then I ate them all, and they were amazing. So it is totally true that you can eat all these leaves and everything from the sweet potato. And then I was just totally surprised at how many amazing sweet potatoes there are. So I think maybe in a few months, this will be a pretty amazing place with sweet potatoes. The plan here, I don't know if I mentioned it in the last one, but so these are all the cherry tomatoes and those are all the cherry tomatoes. What I wanted to do is to fill up the remainder of this row here with cherry tomatoes as well, and then that bit down there. So when I raised all of this up with mulch, so this here, along with those ones there, you might be able to tell, but so there's sand on the base and then there's mill mud on the top. And so where the mulch comes up, it's kind of like just the tip of the iceberg of where everything is. So when you see this, it looks like barely any soil here, but in fact, the soil probably comes out to about here and then out to about there. It's just that the mulch is sitting over top of it. And I'd ideally like to cover over pretty much everything with this straw hay bale thing here. And then that way, yeah, I shouldn't have to probably water as much. But yeah, this thing just keeps growing, as does all of this. This one's actually going above the fence now, and all down there too. So I'm just gonna let it keep growing, but then I'm gonna take more of the cherry tomatoes and plant them all through here. And then down here you can start to see this was some extra sand and then some more extra sand down there. You can see where the rows are starting in the next garden extension down out this way. And there's still so much mill mud left. I know that I'm gonna have to move it eventually out of the way for the new garden. But yeah, that's gonna be a little while yet. And in here, so I was given a couple, I think they're beans. They were like magic beans that one of the neighbors decided that I needed to have. So he gave it to me, and then I actually left them out in the sun accidentally for days and days and days. And then up by the street, and then I just rediscovered that I had left them there, and then I saw that they had started sprouting, and I hadn't put them in any soil or anything. They were just sitting out in the sun on top of the water meter. And so I thought, okay, I better do something. So I just dumped them in here, and then they've just started growing like that as well. The power of mill mud. Definitely the power of mill mud. I probably won't talk too much about all this stuff in here. It all seems to be going well. But I've been busy replanting papaya, so I'll show that in the next vlog update as well, to show what all of that looks like. But I've been taking some of the ones out from here and down the way as well, and they seem to be taking all right, but papayas seem to be incredibly temperamental when they get moved, so we'll see. And then this one here, that's kind of big news, that little green shoot there, that's actually this is the red banana plant that I planted probably about 4 weeks ago now, and it's finally started to start growing new leaves. So that was sort of one of the last banana plants. I think maybe there's possibly this one here, which is another of the red bananas. I think that's the last one to actually start sprouting, so maybe in the next week or two should be good and happily sprouting. So I think that's where I'll leave it for now. It's been a lot going on, and especially we've got an extreme heat warning in effect for the next week or two, so which is far better than flood watches and all that kind of stuff. So I'm happier with the heat, but when it's sort of 36, 37 and nothing but sun every day I think the warning goes for the next at least week or two. I thought while it's still sort of lower 30s, I would get as much done as I possibly could. And so I did as much as I possibly could, and I'll just kind of tinker away over the next little while. Oh, I'll leave off actually on the final bit. So I mentioned earlier that I've got 2 dump trucks full of stuff arriving, and that was because it was really nice to be able to fill in this bit here and some of the little dips and weird parts of the land. And on the list for ages was, and I know I said that I probably wouldn't leave the garden area too much here, but just in anticipation and a little bit of excitement, this area down here is probably too difficult to tell on camera, but the land dips down right in there. Yeah, right in there, and then it kind of comes a little bit back up before it goes back down into the creek. And so that's where the 2, maybe it'll take 3 dump trucks full of dirt will go. And that way, because before, during the rainy season, that occasionally turns into a mini lake as well. And it was a little bit tricky with the trenches that I put in to drain it properly. And so, yeah, for like a week or 2 at least, it would just be a place for toads to have babies. And I'm hoping that once, so on Tuesday, once the soil arrives, they'll just back the truck all the way down the land and then dump it right there. So it shouldn't be a whole lot of work, but I just think it'll make such a big difference once the rains do finally arrive, and to just have fewer places where the mosquitoes and toads are laying their eggs. And yeah, just a little bit of maybe a sense of relief as well, because when that creek comes up in flood watches and stuff, then it kind of, I can just imagine having more soil here is a very good thing. It just keeps the flood waters a little bit further away. All right, and that's it for this update.